Hey guys, this is Nick from forexnoobs.com with some daily price action analysis. In this analysis, I'm going to be going through each and every pair I trade, and I'm going to be looking at each time frame for that pair. The goal of this analysis is to scan for price action setups. Now, I do this 3 to 6 times per day, depending on how busy I am in that day, and this ensures that I very rarely miss an actual trade setup. For example, if I do this 6 times in a day, I'm not going to miss any 8-hour chart setups because there's only 3 8-hour candles in a day. So I'm scanning my charts 6 times per day, looking at every time frame, every pair. There's pretty much no way I'm going to miss an 8-hour chart setup. I may miss a 4-hour chart setup, but that's also unlikely. So this is my process that I go through several times per day to scan for price action setups. I might not find anything in this video. I might find something that's worth looking at. I don't know. I haven't actually had a chance to scan my charts today or yesterday because I had an extremely busy start to the week with some stuff that I don't really need to go into in this video. So let's get started with the price action analysis. We're going to start with GBP/AUD simply because that's at the top of my list for some reason. I can't remember why. Usually I just start with the 3-hour. I rarely take trades on the 3-hour, but now, I mentioned this in every video, but there's new people watching every single video I do, so I feel like I need to mention it every single time. You may notice these weird time frames, 7-hour, 9-hour, 11-hour. I don't trade those. I just have those there because it helps me see price action, a different view of price action, a different view of what price is doing right now. And having many different views of price action allows me to read price action much more accurately. So I don't actually trade the 7-hour chart. I don't trade the 9-hour. I don't trade the 11-hour. I don't trade the 5-hour either. I just have them there. That way I could split price action up into a slightly different time frame and just have a better assessment of what it is doing right now. The only time frames I actually trade are the 3, 4, 6, 8, and the 12. Oh, and the daily, obviously. Anyway, let's keep going. There was a setup here on GBP/AUD, but there is nothing right now. The setup that was there was on the 8-hour chart. Not really going too well. I didn't actually take this setup, but I placed this support resistance area here. Wait, when did I place it? I think I placed it last week. And that indecision formed on the 26th, which was yesterday, 26th. So yeah, this was, technically a setup. And I'm not sure if anyone in the course has entered this one, but yeah, if they did, it's not going too well, but that's fine. There's still no real reason to exit this trade. It's definitely not looking good, but it's still sitting on top of a support area. So if you did enter this trade based on this support resistance area and the indecision forming there, if you did go long here, I wouldn't really close out right now. It's definitely not looking good because when price opened here, it just dropped straight down. And this candle has not made a higher high, so that's also not good. But the good thing is we're still sitting on top of this pretty strong support area. So there is support here, sitting on support resistance. It looks like it's struggling to get through this support area, so it's quite clear that there's buyers still here. So I wouldn't rush to get out of this trade. Just hold your stop loss and see how it goes. There's still a pretty good chance that buyers are going to enter and price is going to start pushing up again. Okay, let's look at USD CAD real quick. See if there's anything there. Now this was actually a trade on the forum that someone posted. I didn't take this trade, but a few people in the course did take this one. I'll discuss the trade after we go through. There's nothing forming here because I know that there's not going to be any tradable setup because of where price is. It's right in the middle of 2 support resistance areas. There's not going to be any tradable setup, but I still go through the process. I still look at every time frame. It's just about having that process and just about getting into the habit of doing it. And sometimes you are going to see interesting things, even if looking at the 4-hour, you'll say to yourself, there's not going to be a setup here, not even on the daily. Sometimes when you do go up to the daily, you might actually see something there that wasn't readily apparent on the 4 hour. And if you hadn't looked, you would have missed it. So it's just good to go through the process. It's just good to get into the habit of looking at every single time frame for that pair at least a few times per day. Now let's quickly look at this 8-hour chart setup that some people in the forum took. I can't remember if they took it on the 4 hour or 8 hour, but it doesn't really matter that much where it was taken. Regardless, it was a failed trade. So this was essentially the setup. Basically, preceding trend heading into an area of resistance. This was the indecision candle. This was not a great setup, but it wasn't a bad setup either. It was entered when price broke below the low of the indecision candle and kind of out of the resistance area. But it kind of stalled pretty much straight away, and then bam, buyers took control of price and it went shooting straight up. So that was a failed trade. I mean, failed trades happen. You can't do much about them. You just, you have to factor in some losses. And when they happen, you can't really get annoyed at the market or annoyed at yourself for it. You just have to accept it. Euro USD. Let's look at what we can see here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing really going on. I get a feeling we're probably not going to see much in this analysis. Yeah, nothing happening there. GBP USD. Whoops. 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing really worth trading here at all. No. AUD USD. What's happening with this pair? Starting with 3 hour, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why I count them out when I'm doing analysis. See, on the 9 hour, it looks like a trade set up there, but it's already triggered, obviously. But I don't trade those time frames, so. Oh, 8 hour too, but this probably would not have been a trade. I don't really like the preceding trend. I like to have a nice strong preceding trend, and this is a single candle preceding trend starting halfway between the two support resistance areas. I don't really see this as a valid preceding trend, so this probably would not have been a trade. Although, price action wise, it is indecision forming on resistance. So it's clear why the reversal happened. I just don't see it as a safe trade. Ooh, look at that. USD JPY forming right on top of a support area. Finding indecision here. Doesn't look that great on the 3 hour, but as we're going up the time frames, are starting to look more and more interesting. 8 hour. Okay. This might actually be a nice setup. It might. It's still got 6 hours till it closes, mind you, so we're going to have to check back on this one, but this actually has a little bit of potential. Let's look at some of the higher time frames real quick. 12 hour 2. 12 hour could form into indecision. Again, 6 hours until it closes. Yeah, okay. I never used to like USD JPY, but recently it's become a more interesting pair to trade. This is definitely something I'm going to be looking out for in the next 6 hours. I want to see how this candle closes on both the 8 hour and the 12 hour chart. And based on that, I may decide to put a long entry. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it closes. All right, New Zealand USD, 3, 4. There's not going to be anything here. It's between two support resistance areas, so. Yeah. Oh, well. All right, Euro JPY. There was actually a lot of discussion about this one in the forum too. No one actually entered it because it kind of never triggered. It just started pushing down before it triggered. So there was a potential for a bullish reversal trade here, but it never actually pushed up. It just continued down. So GBP, JPY. Let's see what that's doing. Falling straight through this area. There's no real potential for a setup here. No preceding trend, and yep, nothing. USD let's look at what's happening here. This analysis is somewhat boring. Sorry, guys. Well, actually, I shouldn't say sorry. How can I be sorry for what the markets are doing? I have no control over it. I just wish I had something more interesting to show you. Euro GBP. I really need to close my Steam, all these little pop-ups. Okay, so that is it for the analysis. USD JPY is looking like it might potentially form into a setup on the 12-hour and the 8-hour. So keep an eye out for that. There's nothing much happening on any of the other pairs, really. There is something happening on Euro AUD, but the trade has already triggered. And even, you know, it is a somewhat risky trade because of the risk to reward ratio and stuff like that. So Euro AUD, there is a potential trade, but it's too late. It's already triggered, so it's too late for this analysis. And like I said, I was very, very busy Monday and most of today, so I was not able to actually enter this one. And I'm not sure if anyone actually spotted this one because it's not a pair that is traded a lot in the forum. But yeah, there might be a trade here if you guys want to check it out. You might get lucky on a retrace entry, or maybe your money management rules are different to mine and you could see a possible entry here that would be viable as per your money management rules. But for me, it's too late for this one. So yeah, all I'm looking at right now is USD JPY 12-hour, 8-hour. 12-hour, 8-hour, closing in about 6 hours, 45 minutes. I'll update the blog post if I actually enter this trade. So see you guys tomorrow.